Welcome to Fan for Racing Radio. I'm Fan for Racing Sharon, and joining me is Jay Huseman. And we are here for the Mexico City preview for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. It's been an adventure for the Cup Series and Xfinity Series teams traveling to Mexico City, Jay.
Yeah, I was listening to Sirius XM out and about tonight, and I knew they had some issues. I guess you said you have more information on that. It did affect some things into tomorrow. I know they got rain. They've been worried about that. So weather is going to be an issue apparently as well. It's unfortunate. I know this is a big weekend for NASCAR, doing the first international for a Cup Series points event. Hopefully they'll be able to work it all out. I mean, NASCAR's always got plan B, C, and D, right?
They do indeed. And so we'll just have to see how it plays out. But we'll try to give you the latest information that we can give you so that you'll have the most up-to-date information, at least as of now, with regard to what's going on. Okay, we're going to start with the Xfinity Series, and they are racing the Chilango 150 at the Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez. It's a 2.42-mile asphalt paved road course. That race is Saturday, June the 14th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. It'll be on the CW network, starting with pre-race coverage at 4 p.m., radio coverage on MRN, and Sirius XM NASCAR Channel 90. They'll race a distance of 157.3 miles over 65 laps, with stage 1 ending on lap 20, stage 2 on lap 40, and then the final stage is 25 laps ending on lap 65. Now, let me give you the most up-to-date information with what's going to happen. Xfinity practice was originally scheduled for Friday, and that practice now is moved to Saturday. They will have a 50-minute practice session that will start at 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time, and qualifying will be on Saturday at 12:10 p.m. Eastern Time. So, and then I'll tell you more about the NASCAR Mexico Series race that was originally scheduled to take place on Friday has been moved up to 1:30. So that race is going to be a little bit later. And then 2 Cup practices on Friday are moved back. So, but we'll get into that later. I just want to make sure you've got the Xfinity. Again, nothing on Friday for Xfinity Series. Their practice session starts at 11:05 Eastern Time, 50-minute practice, and then qualifying at 12:10 p.m. Eastern Time. And all of that will be part of that CW network coverage. Okay, so Jay, have you checked out the entry list?
I have, and this is one of those, if you want to bring it up on Hot Topics come Monday, feel free to do so. I'm unfortunately not going to be here, but we have 39 teams on the entry list for the Chilango 150 Xfinity Series race at Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez. No drivers will go home, as NASCAR is allowing up to 40 cars to start this race. That's a little bit different for the Xfinity Series. They've obviously made a change, an exception for this race. Some notable entries. The number 07 will be Alex Labbe. The number 9, Daniel Suarez. Josh Bilicki is going to be in the number 14. A couple of Cup stars. The 19 will be Ty Gibbs. Christopher Bell is in the 24, which I want to say is Sam Hunt Racing. Is that correct, Sharon?
Yeah, I think it is, yes.
Okay.
Because Patrick Staropoli drives that car when he drives.
Is that okay? There we go. All right. The number 32, that'll be Austin Green. The 35 will be Ruben Ravello. The number 45 is going to be Brad Perez. Sage Karam in the number 53. The 70 is Thomas Annunziato. And then the 91 is Andres Perez de Lara, coming back out of the Truck Series. So good entry there, field of entries there. Again, 39 drivers, so they're allowing essentially 1 extra. Up to 2, but right now they have 1 extra listed.
Oh, okay, so that's pretty cool. that all of these drivers are going to be racing, and even some Cup drivers getting double duty there.
I thought there might be a couple more. I know this is one of those planned events throughout the year, but I would have thought maybe we saw a few more of the Cup guys. And I know NASCAR keeps an eye on that too, of seat time or extra time. I know they're only allowed so many races, but they've also limited that. I think they did it at the Chicago Street Course, where they said you can't run the Xfinity to try and get an advantage of extra track time. So I don't know if that plays in or not. I just thought there might be a couple more maybe that did do the Xfinity race here in Mexico. And it saves teams money, right? If you got one driver and two teams. Are we ready to go into the storylines and insights?
Yes.
All right. For the Xfinity Series, I know I said this was a big weekend, an inaugural event for NASCAR, but not for the Xfinity side of it. This weekend will actually mark the 5th running of a NASCAR Xfinity Series race at the Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez all time. It's the first since the series competed there back in 2008. Now, NASCAR didn't race in Mexico City between 2009 and 2024.
In fact, there are 6,264 days between the races, and that is the second longest gap all time. The longest was 7,728 at Rockingham, which ended earlier this season. So second longest gap there for Mexico City.
Well, by 1,000 days. How about that? Now, Mexico City is the second of 7 road courses this season for the Xfinity Series. I didn't realize that. This was only their second road course.
Yeah, and there's 7 total, so there's more on the way. Now, NASCAR added an international provisional at Mexico City, so all 39 cars can race, but the 39th qualifier will not be eligible for prize money, points, or playoff benefits.
Ooh, there is a catch to it. Okay, we've seen that at the Cup Series. Yeah, there is a catch to it. Now, here's something that I didn't realize. Mexico City is actually at an elevation of 7,350 feet, 15 feet. That's more than 5,300 feet higher than any other NASCAR track. I was talking a lot with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and specifically during his interview about that, of driver conditioning when you're at a higher elevation. They were talking about Colorado being one of them.
It will affect some of the drivers. Now, 5 drivers celebrated birthdays between Nashville and Mexico City. Josh Bilicki on June 3rd. Sammy Smith had a birthday June 4th. Justin Allgaier's birthday was June 6th. Nick Sanchez on June 10th. That's also my nephew Adam's birthday. And Thomas Annunziata on June 14th, which is going to be the race day. And my granddaughter had a birthday on June 11th.
You were saying she paired up with some or around some NASCAR drivers. That's cool.
That is very cool.
Now, there are 12 races left in the regular season. We said we're on the downhill slope when it comes to that, and there's only 6 playoff spots remaining. This weekend at Mexico could be one of those. I think that fills a new winner and fills one of those slots.
I couldn't agree more. Now, the first 4 drivers that are below the cutoff are all rookies. We've talked about how those rookies are kind of grouped right in that cutoff bubble.
It was, and we'll take a look at that. I got to get that pulled up, but I will before we get there. Going back to Nashville, Justin Allgaier picked up the victory there, and that was his 3rd win of the season.
Nashville also was the 28th career win for Justin Allgaier. He is 9th on the all-times win list and 1 away from tying Matt Kenseth.
Now, this is the 5th time that Justin Allgaier has won 3 or more races in a season. All of them have been in the last 8 years. We've talked about how dominant he's been and finally getting that championship.
Yes, I think it's awesome. Justin Allgaier has 8 top 10s away from 300 in his career. He would be the first driver with 300 top 10 finishes when he hits that number.
And I like that you said it's when he hits it, because we do believe he certainly will.
Yes.
Now, Justin Allgaier's top 10 finishes, 10 top 5 finishes in 2025 are his most ever after 14 races into a season.
Okay, and Allgaier also leads all drivers with 10 top 5 finishes and 638 laps led in 2025.
He has also won the fastest lap award 5 times this season. No other driver has more than 2.
And Junior Motorsports, that's Justin Allgaier's team, placed all 5 cars in the top 10 at Nashville. That's pretty amazing.
It was, and I didn't realize they had that 5th car out there for that, so that's even more impressive, no doubt. Now, as a whole, as an organization, Junior Motorsports is 6 wins away from 100. Only 3 other teams have won at least 100 Xfinity Series races. Joe Gibbs Racing sits at 217, of a double that. Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing is at 138, and Richard Childress Racing right at the 100 mark. They got that earlier this year.
And Daniel Suarez will be driving the number 9 for Junior Motorsports. Ty Gibbs, the number 19 for Joe Gibbs Racing. Christopher Bell will be in the 24 for Sam Hunt Racing, and they'll all be in the field this weekend.
You know, when I said that, I didn't realize that. You're right. Daniel Suarez is a Cup driver in that number 9. I knew he was in the number 9, but I didn't make that connection of being the Cup Series driver. Now, Suarez is from Monterrey, Mexico, and has won 3 times at Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez in NASCAR Mexico Series.
Daniel Suarez also won the 2016 Xfinity Series Championship, making him the first international driver to win a NASCAR National Touring Series Championship.
And Ty Gibbs, who won the 2022 Xfinity Series Championship, 4 of his 12 career NASCAR Xfinity Series wins have come on road courses. That's his most on any type of track.
Also, Truck Series rookie and the 2024 ARCA champion, Andreas Perez, will be making his Xfinity Series debut in the DGM number 91.
All right. I didn't realize that was his Xfinity Series debut, so got to like that. Now, we do have 3 drivers. We talked about Daniel Suarez, but you also got Ruben Ravello and Andres Perez. They're the 3 drivers in the field with experience at Mexico City.
That's going to be an advantage, I think. 4 different drivers won 4 races at Mexico City from 2005 to 2008. Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Juan Pablo Montoya, and Kyle Busch.
And Denny Hamlin and Juan Pablo Montoya earned their first career Xfinity Series win at Mexico City. That's kind of unique to get your first win in an international course.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? Now, drivers who led the most laps won 3 of 4 Mexico City races. So that's one of those keys that we can watch for.
And talked about Ty Gibbs with the 4 career road course wins. Sam Mayer also has 4, and that gives him the lead of active drivers with 4 or more road course wins.
Now, 9 of the last 11 road course races were won by just 3 drivers: Sam Mayer, Shane Van Gisbergen, and Connor Zilisch.
Certainly 3 to watch this weekend, no doubt. Now, we've been talking about Junior Motorsports, but we also got to add in Colleague Racing, which is where SVG ran. They've won the last 6 road courses, with JRM having won the last 3.
And 10 of the last 18 road course races were won from the pole, which I think is pretty interesting. Usually there's a lot of passing on a road course.
Yeah, that's over 50%. So that is kind of unique when it comes to that. Now, Sam Mayer is the only driver to finish in the top 15. He's done so in 12 of the 14 races so far this season in the Xfinity Series.
Another thing to know is that 5 races this year have ended with a last lap pass. 3 of the last 4 races this season had a pass for the win in the final 2 laps.
And here's what you call excitement. Half of them, 7 of the 14 races this season, have gone into overtime.
3 crew chiefs got their first Xfinity Series win this year. They include Adam Wall, who won at Bristol, Sam McAuley at Darlington, and Chad Haney got his first win at Atlanta.
We've talked about leading laps and starting out front. Chevrolet covers that. 2,061 of 2,636 laps led this season. Again, math-wise, that's about 80%. Yeah, roughly 80%.
That's amazing. Another Chevrolet stat here. Chevrolet has won 12 of the first 14 races. That's the most all-time by a manufacturer through 14 races in series history. That's how dominant Chevrolet has been this year. But we've got some other, as you mentioned, it's a return for the Xfinity Series to Mexico this year.
And they are returning to Mexico. It'll be the Saturday afternoons, Chilango 150 on the CW network. Again, the series has held 4 previous races at the famed Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez. The last one we mentioned, the 4 winners, was in 2008, won by Kyle Busch.
And we also mentioned this earlier as well. This is the second of 7 road course races on the schedule. Series rookie Junior Motorsports Connor Zilich won at Circuit of the Americas from that pole position. So that covers several stats we mentioned earlier.
And it's a repeat, but a highlight to make note of. Junior Motorsports' Justin Allgaier, as a reigning series champion, earned his 3rd win of the year at the series' most recent race, which was a couple of weeks ago at Nashville. That's the 5th time in the last 8 years that he scored at least 3 victories in a season. He now holds a 92-point advantage in the championship standings over fellow 3-time race winner Richard Childress Racing's Austin Hill.
That's pretty amazing. Now, he does hail from Illinois and has answered his first career title run with another top shelf season in that number 7 JRM, or Junior Motorsports Chevrolet. He leads all drivers in laps led at 638, top 10 finishes at 10, and he's only 8 top 10 finishes away from 300 in his career, a feat that has never before been accomplished in the series. So I'm really proud of Justin Allgaier.
He certainly has developed quite the resume there, no doubt. Now, I mentioned this, it's 12 regular season races remaining and 6 playoff spots still to be claimed. So as we said, Mexico City certainly presents all the making of an ultra-competitive weekend, as they know it's time to capitalize.
And just to reiterate, Sam Mayer and Ty Gibbs have the most road course wins with 4 each. So interestingly, 9 of the series' last 11 road course races have been won by just 3 drivers. And those 3 drivers are Sam Mayer, Shane Van Gisbergen, and Connor Zilich. And Mayer, who's ranked 3rd in the standings, is still looking for his first win of the year. So could it come at the 2nd road course race of the year?
Well, I think the competition there is going to be a Cup driver, and that's Gibbs, as he'll be in that number 19 Toyota among 3 of the NASCAR Cup Series regulars. As mentioned, it's Suarez in the number 9 Chevrolet, and then Christopher Bell in the number 24 Toyota that are racing on Saturday, as well as from the Truck Series, rookie Andres Perez de Lara, and that will be his Xfinity Series debut. What better place?
Yes, indeed. Now, they mentioned the Kennametal pole qualifying, and that's been historically has been proven very significant on road courses, with the pole sitter winning 10 of the last 18 road course races. Again, that pole qualifying has been moved to Saturday. It was originally scheduled for Friday. So Xfinity Series is having that 50-minute practice session starting at 11:05 a.m. Eastern, and that will be followed by the Xfinity Series qualifying at 12:10 p.m. Eastern. And then the race itself, the Xfinity Series race, will start at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Now, with that, I mentioned we got a couple of different sites here we look at. Make sure you got the most up-to-date information. Again, it's kind of a fluid situation with the weather. Some crews and drivers, crewmen, And I don't know if there were NASCAR officials involved, but one of the planes having an issue getting out of Charlotte and down into Mexico. So try to keep up to date on that. We're giving you what we have as the most recent information we have.
Now, if you're following the NASCAR Mexico Series, that race on Friday has been moved up to 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and the NASCAR Mexico Series race on Saturday moves to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So just some changes to the schedule as a result of the issue that Jay referenced with getting planes out of Charlotte. So you want to cover the points report, Jay?
All right. With that, we mentioned Justin Allgaier right now with that commanding lead. Both him and Austin Hill are set at 21 playoff points built up in their bank. The next closest is Connor Zilisch with 7. So they are absolutely eating those playoff points up. In the standings, though, we mentioned Sam Mayer looking for his first win of the year, though, in third in points. Does have 1 playoff point for a stage win. Then you got Jesse Love with a victory, has got a total of 6. Connor Zilisch is in 5th with his 7 points for the playoffs. Sheldon Creed, Carson Kvapil, and Brandon Jones, your next 3. Jones does have a victory, so has 5 playoff points in the bank. 9th, Jeb Burton. 10th is Ryan Sieg. Harrison Burton in 11th, and Nick Sanchez in 12th. However, 13th is Sammy Smith, who has a victory. So he bumps himself in with his victory. So Nick Sanchez is technically the cut line at 343 points. And then we mentioned rookies galore. Taylor Gray at 316, Daniel Dye at 300, Dean Thompson at 285, and Christian Eckes. Brendan Poole is in there as well, but then Christian Eckes is in 18th. That's where the mass majority of your rookies are running right now.
Yeah, it's really amazing how they're all grouped at that cut line. Quite a few of the rookies are right in there. So it is going to be interesting. 14 starts for just about everybody. And Connor Zilisch is the only one with 13 starts. And he had a back issue, right, after a wreck?
Yes, that's correct. He sat out after Talladega with the back issue. Kyle Larson filled in for him, so that is correct, and I'm pretty sure he got approved for the waiver with that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was approved for that as well. So it's the other thing that is kind of amazing is even though there's 92 points between the first and second driver, their stat line reads it's identical. 3 race wins, 6 stage wins.
Yeah, as far as those statistics there on the points report, if you were to look at their full driver, that's where you would find the difference. And I don't have it pulled up to give it to you, but clearly Justin Allgaier's top 5s and top 10s, as we gave the statistics on records he's setting with that, that's where that comes into play. Austin Hill, a little bit more varied as far as bad finishes or rough finishes, 20th, 30th place. Justin Allgaier, so consistent week in and week out.
Anything else you want to make sure we mention before we move on, Jake? Because we do have some other things coming up here.
No, looking at and just thinking about a race pick, again, I think it is wide open. We got several, the 3 Cup Series drivers, all 3 very good on road courses. So, man, I'm gonna go with Sam Mayer. I wouldn't put any money on it. I'm a gambler, and I wouldn't even put $1 on it because, like I said, I believe this weekend is so wide open when it comes to this Xfinity Series race. But I'll go with Sam Mayer just to say I picked one driver.
And I want to go with a Cup driver, but I think I'll stick with the Xfinity Series the same as you. I'll say Connor Zilisch wins.
Ooh, that 2 for 2 on the road courses. That'd be interesting for sure. And he's already established himself with the 1, and he's 5th in points as it is. Yeah. Certainly would add to the playoff. And again, he's the one leading as far as playoff points aside from the top 2.
So it'll be fun to watch. I have no doubt about that. do watch for more. Jay and I are, in addition to the Xfinity Series, there's 2 ARCA races this weekend. The ARCA Menard Series is racing at Berlin Raceway in Michigan. And then the ARCA West Series is racing at Kevin Harvick's Kern County Raceway this weekend. So both of those are coming up, as well as our Cup Series at Mexico City. Their first ever race at the Mexico track. So we've got all of that coming up next here on Fan for Racing Radio. With that, Jay, I also want to tell everybody thank you for watching and tuning in. We really appreciate it.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay. We'll see you in the next video, everybody.